You ever watch someone slam a gate shut on your life? Not just metaphorically, I mean literally right in your face at the exact moment you're holding everything together by the thinnest thread imaginable, because that's exactly how my story with Colleen Durrett, self-declared queen of the HOA, kicked off. I'll never forget the look she gave me that night, fingers white-knuckling the latch like she owned the very air behind it, telling me, "She's not dying. You can use the main entrance like everyone else." Meanwhile, her shiny SUV blocked the only emergency lane, hazard lights flashing like smug exclamation points, and my hands were still slick with my wife's blood. Maya slumped beside me, gasping. In the hospital, you guys. It was just a stone's throw away, maybe 500 feet. If I could clear that damn gate. My heart hammered into my ears as I got out. I told her, voice flat, "My wife is 37 weeks pregnant. Her placenta's detaching. If I wait 3 more minutes, our daughter could die." Colleen, HOA board president, self-appointed guardian of Lakeside Glen Estates, didn't even flinch. Just leaned into the gatepost, flicked the override, and let the motor grind to a halt. Locked. End of story. She gives me that HOA smile, all teeth, no warmth. Oh, honey, rules are rules. Maybe next time leave earlier. You ever deal with an HOA so power drunk it nearly kills someone you love? Because if you have, you know it only gets worse before it gets better. I'm Lucas Marin, former trauma medic now, emergency coordinator at Mercy General. My literal job is making sure people don't die waiting on red tape. I helped write the damn emergency gate protocol for our county. I own the easement Colleen just slammed shut. That patch of land is technically hospital property, leased out to the neighborhood long before we moved in. I know that because when you marry someone with Maya's history of complicated pregnancies, you read every map, every bylaw, every inch of fine print. I'd promised Maya she'd be close to care if anything ever went wrong. So when her blood soaked clean through the towel and the monitor shrieked, I didn't think I just drove. And every second Colleen stood there flexing her power, she stole another heartbeat from my wife. Maya was screaming, hands crushing the dash, begging me to go. My phone buzzing with a text from our OB, "Don't wait. User bay." But Colleen standing there in yoga pants and HOA fleece, looking me dead in the eye, choosing protocols and landscaping over oxygen and time. The wild part. She smiled as she shut that gate, as Maya sobbed as I pounded the steering wheel, because I knew if I crashed that barrier, we'd face felony vandalism lawsuits and God knows what else on top of a medical emergency. The only reason the gate finally opened. A nurse from the ER saw us and manually hit the sensor. 11 minutes lost. Later, they told me if Maya had been any later, she'd have suffered a full abruption. Our daughter's heart had already dipped twice before we made it inside. Colleen wasn't around when the NICU nurse shoved gloves at me and shouted, "Cut now, she's crashing." She didn't see me kiss Maya's forehead before they wheeled her off, or the way I stared at the monitor for 43 minutes praying the line didn't flatline. But Colleen did send me a violation notice, improper use of emergency access, $400 or $500 fine, mandatory board hearing. That letter sat on my nightstand while Maya slept, a V still in her wrist butterfly bandage, bright against her skin, our daughter early but alive. Should have felt like relief. Instead, it felt like anger bottled so tight my chest I could barely breathe. I stared out at Colleen's house porch light, burning her own rule exterior lights from dusk till dawn, the street too perfect, no cars, no barking, like a stage wiped clean for appearances while the rot burrowed underneath. Next morning I marched into the HOA office, violation in hand. Karen at the desk, not that. Karen stared like I'd tracked mud over the carpet. "If it's a violation, you can appeal through the portal," she chirped. "I'm not using the portal. My wife nearly died because Colleen blocked the ER gate. You can email Mrs. Durrett directly." I didn't. I walked outside, watched the security camera pan across the parking lot, and ran into Greg from 14B. He just raised his eyebrows. Fine for saving my wife's life. He winced, glanced away. That woman's been getting bolder. You're not the first. But he kept walking. That's how it started, the silence. Neighbors who used to wave now looked through me. No one brought up the gate. Not even a line in the newsletter. Then came the petty attacks, suspicious package report on my Amazon delivery, anonymous complaint about my recycling bin. Breadcrumbs leading toward removal, one after another. Colleen wasn't just covering her tracks, she was painting mine dirty. The next board meeting, closed to non-members, but I watched through the window. Colleen ran the show cool as a cucumber. Mark Tilden, the secretary, sat hunched and silent, fingers twitching. You get good at reading body language in the ER. That's a man breaking on the inside. That night back home, I noticed fine print at the bottom of the violation video footage not retained beyond 12 hours. No way to prove what Colleen did unless someone had already seen it. I showed up early for the next HOA meeting, lingered near the open French windows. Colleen droned on about community uniformity and how emotional appeals couldn't override policy. Another board member joked about my wife's email, very dramatic. Colleen just smirked. I'll be speaking with hospital security next week. Mark didn't laugh. At one point, he glanced out the window toward me, a silent SOS. That night, I found Mark's work email. I sent one line, "You were there. I know you saw what happened." Next morning, a reply, "Can't talk on email." Not safe. But I'm not okay with what she did. Later in the grocery store parking lot, Mark stopped with his back to me. "I didn't know she was pregnant. I thought you were overreacting. She was bleeding, Mark." "I know. I saw the footage before it got erased." He handed me a sticky note with a timestamp from the server logs, proof the recording was manually wiped. "Why are you giving this to me?" He swallowed. "Because she's going to do it again, and next time someone won't make it." Colleen doubled my fine to $9,000 for failure to comply with corrective measures, demanded a written apology and a behavior review. The day that letter arrived, Maya just handed it to me and went to the nursery folding swaddles, not speaking her way of coping. I walked to the community fountain, ran into Ruth walking her ancient Schnauzer Boomer. She saw the envelope and nodded. Colleen did the same to the Henderson's EMTs got blocked guy, ended up in ICU. Was it reported? Didn't stick. She's got friends on zoning. Folks here would rather pay a fine than fight. But Ruth wasn't afraid anymore. She handed me a manila envelope, her own statement, and a dispatch transcript from the EMT incident. This might help. I digitized everything, sent it to a friend on the County Emergency Review Board, Derek. He'd helped me during a wildfire evacuation years ago. "Is this active obstruction?" he asked. "Absolutely. I've got metadata, witness statements, a history." "All right. Send it over. If it's as bad as you say, it's not ending with a slap on the wrist." Ruth also kept a black notebook, every odd gate delay, every time Colleen bent the rules. Ambulance held up, diabetic woman denied override, elderly lady's husband carrying her to the car because the code was expired. "Why didn't you ever submit this?" I asked. "Didn't think it would matter, not until now." I photographed every page, filed it on my encrypted drive, and sent it to Derek. That night he called. "We're issuing a formal inspection, but you'll need neighbors to talk." So I went to the dog park, started conversations. Greg mentioned his wife's broken ankle. Sandra, the nurse, shared her own emergency delays. People started to nod. A few agreed to speak to the county, even if only anonymously. 3 days later, county inspectors showed up, official cars, rain pouring down, Colleen nowhere in sight. They checked the gate, the override logs, the server backups, Mark standing by as board secretary. My USB drive with the metadata in Derek's pocket. By the time they finished, it was clear: direct tampering logs erased from Colleen's own IP address, voting irregularities on my fines. Derek told me we'll be issuing a cease and desist. Access to the gate reverts to county emergency control. There'll be a formal hearing. The county ordered a full community review. Colleen tried to bury the notice, but Mark and I got ahead of her flyers in every mailbox. That night, the meeting room was packed. Colleen stood at the front clipboard like a shield. The inspector read the findings: obstruction, unauthorized overrides, forged votes. Neighbors spoke. Sandra described her patient nearly dying. Ruth recounted what she'd seen. I went last, didn't bring the whole file, just a photo of the locked gate. Maya crumpled beside me, timestamp blazing. This is what she locked out, I said. She erased emergencies and nearly erased us. Colleen never defended herself. She tried to shout witch hunt, but the inspector cut her off. Mark handed over the audit trail. The county suspended Colleen on the spot, froze all board power. Neighbors started to clap, small at first, but real. Ruth stood up. I want the board re-elected. No holdovers, no appointments. Seconded. That was it. The last thread snapped. Colleen left the meeting without a word. 2 weeks later, the emergency gate was replaced with a county-controlled system. No HOA overrides, just a straight shot to help. Mark ran for president, Ruth for treasurer, and the silence in our neighborhood finally broke. Colleen put her house up for sale and vanished, her realty sign taped over with a copy of the inspection report. Maya healed slower in spirit than in body, but our daughter Ara brightened every corner. I installed a plaque next to the new access panel, paid for out of pocket, in memory of every minute that never should have been lost. Not fancy, just a line in the sand, a promise not to forget. So what do you think? Was that justice or just a long overdue correction? Drop a comment. Share your own story if you've ever faced an HOA gone wild. And don't forget to subscribe if you want more real stories of homeowners fighting back. Where are you watching from? Because let me tell you, you never really know your neighbors until someone tries to lock you out.